everyone. Thank you so much for watching our shorts program on love in all its forms. I'm here with the lovely filmmakers. And so we're just gonna get our talk back started. So whoever wants to introduce themselves first, please feel free to do so.
I'm Marianna Fung. I'm the director of Love Letter to Dr. Teresa Tam.
I'm Sibel Güvenç. I'm the director, writer, producer of Turkish Mısır Macunu.
I'm Marianna Fung. I am the director, writer, actor, and producer of Cranberry Flirt.
Hi, my name is Jerome Yu. I'm the co-writer and director of Idols Never Die.
Hi, my name is Cindy, and I'm the director and writer of the short film Baby Blue.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm the director and writer of Untitled.
Excellent. Thank you guys so much for introducing yourselves and for being here and taking the time to do so. I know it's weird because we'd all love to be around each other in a theater doing what we like to do best, which is like watch a movie, if not making a movie. So I'm just going to get straight into it because one of the films that I wanted that kind of speaks directly to the circumstances of which we find ourselves in is a love letter to Dr. Teresa Tam. And so well, we all know who Teresa Tam is. She's been one of the people that's been kind of advising us through this time. And so I'm just curious, Maninder, how did the idea for this film come to you? Obviously, I know like COVID had to do with it, but can you talk more about like it's just so different and refreshing. I'm just curious as to how it came to be.
Actually, it happened very organically. Our guy Sean had an idea for he's a comedian, and he had an idea for a song, and he wrote the lyrics, but he's not a musician. So I have a musical background, and we have a friend that was involved, Stuart Cameron, who by the way, plays for the Crash Test Dummies and Matthew Good Band, and so I played around with the melody. Stuart played around with the melody. We decided on a punk kind of theme for the thing, and Stuart put the music together, and Sean did the singing afterwards, and I kind of said like, I think this is great. This sounds fantastic. It needs a video, and so it just naturally happened, really in a progression like a few weeks. It was just like, okay, from idea to video, so it was very organic.
Awesome. The thing we were just saying earlier before we had started recording that like I guess for myself, when I watched it, another programmer had reviewed it and then like sent it to the rest of us to review. And when I had watched it, I was like, oh, how refreshing, because when we were watching it, it was at the height of like, because this has been a very challenging time with like sad things happening. So it's very refreshing and a lovely way to appreciate our public officials who are working very hard for us. Specifically, like, as you know, like it's difficult being a woman and also being a woman of color occupying a space like that. And like I was saying, like in the news recently, seeing that a lot of women that occupy these really public roles have been receiving death threats. It's like nice to see some light in all the darkness. So thank you so much for making your film really like refreshing. I just wanted to offer a transition to another film that kind of had a bit of a musical vibe. So Jerome, your film looks at kind of like uses girlhood and like fandom and like really juxtaposing, deals with some very heavy subject matter pertaining to life, but also with reference to K-pop. So again, incredibly refreshing, and I loved it. So can you talk a bit about like the inception of the film and like how it came to be? Because I also know that it wasn't actually shot in Canada, from what I understand.
Yeah, actually, it is shot all in Canada. It's all shot in Vancouver.
Never mind. Okay, oops.
I'm glad that you fell for that illusion. Yeah, it's the film's a bit of a love letter to my childhood past and upbringing in Vancouver, where I, as a Korean immigrant, I started my life here in Canada since I was 2 years old. I was a bit out of touch with my heritage until I came into middle school and high school, where I met students that were just coming over from abroad to study English, and they would bring over, you know, their culture of like how they grew up with them, which is all this like cultural sort of like context of just what they are like influenced by, their hobbies. And one of the big things was K-pop. And before that, I never listened to K-pop, and I I was just so interested by this one particular friend that I had back in high school, where because she felt like she didn't have a community, there was like language barriers. The only thing that she could really lean on to sort of disconnect from her difficult reality was K-pop. That was kind of like her comfort zone and like her shelter. So just taking it was like funny too, because I remember one time she was like managing like a K-pop fan page at the time. Saw how religiously devoted she was to like updating this fan page about this boy band group called Shiny, who I'm not sure if they're even relevant anymore, but K-pop's just become such a huge phenomenon like around the world, and I really wanted to take my experiences with like this friendship I shared with her and her devotion to K-pop, and I thought it would be interesting to really talk about sisterhood and girlhood, and just it's almost like a hook, right? Really, it's about the girls and the fan club, and ultimately their dysfunction coming together at the end. But I thought, you know, K-pop would be really cool to explore that subject through.
I also wanted to commend you and your co-creators on, you dealt with the interpersonal like weirdness that exists in like teenage friendships, female teenage friendships really well, and I like in a very sensitive way. It wasn't like the reverence that these girls had for this K-pop star, like it never felt ridiculous. It felt very grounded and based in reality, which also just helped me be really invited me to be with them and follow them in the story. Like it just kind of drew me in because it seemed so real to them and so hot and so present. So really, congratulations. It's a lovely film, and like if you were able to do most audiences and thinking it was shot in Korea, I say like you're doing a good job. So then moving on, so I wanted to also highlight moving to the other, like to Crit. One of the things that I really loved about your film was the colors and which you used and the textures, and your take on a love story. And like in my program notes, I noted that it's kind of evocative of like, you feel the textures like evocative of like Call Me By Your Name-esque, if that makes sense. And so I was just curious, as a director, if you could talk from a technical standpoint about your process with reference to colors, aspect ratio, those kinds of things, why you decided to make those choices that you did.
First of all, the film is quite personal to me. So I want to make sure that it looks personal, and I want it to look a little bit contemporary. And that's why I chose the 1:37 aspect ratio, because to me, it's always looked like I was watching someone else's memory. Like it's the aspect ratio that people use for their home videos and their old, you know, like old movies, right? So it looks like memories to me. So that's why I chose this aspect ratio. And when I got together with my cinematographer, Bryce, he was looking at the photography work by Jeff Walls and Rolla Stevens. And that's when we come together to these color choices and this texture that we all agree on. And it was his choice to shoot the whole film with Alexa Mini and Panavision Primo Lens, I believe. And I'm very happy with what we got together.
Incredibly beautiful film, and like one of the biggest things I think is a testament to your skill as a writer is like you take an archetypal love story and really do kind of break it and turn it on its head. Even the idea of like planting, because like one of the things that really got me is when he's like he's digging out the person, like he plants the man seed and then he's like digging up his lover that he planted. And in many ways I feel like metaphorically it's like you kind of like plant a seed in a person when you do at like a kind of like begin a relationship with them, and like in a way like the seed of like the love kind of grows. So I thought it was so beautiful. And also I just wanted to segue to another to Sybil's film, because it also deals with like a lover-lover relationship. Sybil, your film is, pardon my French, your film is a riot. Like I was gonna say a fucking riot. Your film is, it's funny. And so one of the things that I really loved about your film is when the bride and the groom are just so awkward around each other, and it's like the space in which you walk, like the space is just tense, and the air is thick with tension because these two are just like, they have to consummate their marriage, but they don't know each other, and really give a lovely window into like the being in an arranged marriage and like how stressful that could be. So I guess I'm curious, like, what was your, like, when you, with those long, like with those silences from a directorial standpoint, like what were you, I'm curious about your process with using how you use the medium to kind of find moments of comedy, but also finding moments that are really real and human.
Thank you. Great question. I tried to hold the tension and left it like kind of to get the, each time, especially I think you're referring the time they were going into the bedroom alone and that kind of holding the silence. So I just left it to be, each time I cut to another angle or whatever, I just wanted that motivation to come through the actors and their movements. So I just wanted to just kind of relax at that time. The pacing is a bit slower, and let them just run us, like with us into the story. Yeah, it was mainly getting the pulse from the actors. And I'm glad that you found it funny.
Yeah, I was also going to ask, what I guess is like we all make these things and we put little parts of our souls into like whatever we're making. What's your favorite thing about the film that you've made?
As a Turkish Canadian filmmaker and a female filmmaker, it's my aim to make the world a better place through my filmmaking, where I focus on social justice issues. And in this case, this is a film about women's position in a patriarchal society. And I'm telling a story about taboo of virginity and arranged marriages, but through humor. It's not a new story. It's dealt with tragic stories like in books and films and novels and theater plays, but I wanted to treat it with humor. And I think that's the thing I love the most. And unfortunately, we won't be able to experience watching it with audience, but I'm glad I had a chance to watch with the audience and hear them laugh. And through humor, it was like more accessible to give my message to the audience about women's rights and freedom of thinking. Yeah, and all that.
No, that's excellent. Like, and thank you. And it's just like, I wanted to, as you said that, I wanted to commend all the filmmakers here, because like you managed to offer so much lightness and like dealing with really heavy topics, like for example, Jerome, with your film, like suicidal ideation, and then also like unrequited love, crit, and then also like a pandemic, Minder. And you guys managed to find such lightness, which I just like so appreciated, which is why I'm so happy that the rest of you, that you guys are all here. I'm just also going to segue that into Marianna, because another film that I thought that was a effing riot was your film, Cranberry Flirt. I guess it's great because I feel like we all have someone in our life that's older, that's overbearing, be it a mother or father, an aunt or whomever. And so I'm just curious because it just seems like very much so a slice of life you're watching. What did you want to say with your film, or what opinion of the world did you want to offer with your film? That's because it didn't seem like there was like messaging like over the top, like hitting you in the head with it. So I'm just curious and like what your thoughts.
Yeah, I think my message for the film was just like, my love life is none of your beeswax. So like, I think that a lot of the times when people see a woman who's over the age of 30 and she's single, and they always have their hums and ideas and thoughts about this woman maybe not being the marriage type or wifey material. And I just wanted to kind of shut that idea down, that it's not that, and whether or not she's with somebody, it shouldn't be anyone's business.
Sing it, girl.
So, like, yeah, I mean, in my personal life, I've been with a person for my partner for almost 9 years now. And I was kind of getting sick of hearing people say like, oh, why aren't you married? Like, doesn't he love you? So I'm all about not the conventional like marriage. I don't need to get married. I don't need my man to get me a ring to solidify our relationship, or how much he loves me. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of break that mold.
Oh, I love it. Brilliant. And like, I also think it definitely like relates a lot to Sybil's film in a way, because even though it's dealing with different subject matter, it's the idea of like, as a woman, I don't need a man per se. And like also highlighting a woman's precarious position in society, in the sense that like, it's like, even though you're fine on your own, it's like, oh, but there must be something wrong with her. Even though it's like, I pay my taxes, I have a car, pay my bills, but like there must be something wrong with her. So like I didn't actually, like now, like listening to you now, I like really get that messaging. But like one of the things that shone through it was like the mother's, how like that's living with that kind of messaging coming toward you is like annoying daily, but also like how the mother character is kind of just like, it feels to me like that's kind of like in a lot, especially generationally, for a lot of people or a lot of women, the way to succeed and to do well in society is to have a man. And so I felt there's a sensitivity there where we weren't like, the mother was not necessarily, what's the word, the enemy, let's say. You did a very good job of like juxtaposing the two positions in a very human and comedic way. And so thank you. And then last but not least, Cindy, your film I think is very interesting because it deals with postpartum depression, and we don't hear a lot about that. Like even with the conversations about women's health and like how we should be open about mental health, I do think that like that issue kind of like takes a backseat to a lot of things. So I'm curious about why you decided to tell this story and why you took it upon yourself to what made you want to write about this.
So this is also very personal because it's actually like based on my mother's experience. So when she had my older sister, and she went to Japan without like able to speak like single Japanese. So she was always like at home because she couldn't go out with my dad or stuff. And so she was always stuck with like my sister with baby. And then she suffered from postpartum depression, which made her like really not like her firstborn child. Now she's her like the best like favorite child, so it really doesn't make sense. But still, she was really suffering, going a lot. But when she told like people about it, everybody said like, oh, that's like just a phase. Like everybody experiences those kind of phases and stuff. So everybody assumes that everybody knows that's a problem, but sometimes they just like go away with it, since it's like everybody's experiencing it. But I just wanted to point out by this film that like being mother is awesome, being mother is super great. They're really like going through so many stuff. But the medium, as you said, they really do not really talk about the hardships mother or like pregnant women have to go through. So I just want to focus on that. Like being a mother, it seems really beautiful and really really secured and really important, which is true, of course, but like going through the hardship is also the really important part, and how to manage it. And I just want to say to like all the women, or like all the pregnant women or new mothers, to like ask for help if they're actually in trouble or like going through the depressions, or like it's not just them, but it's also really severe like problem if they just like stick with it.
Well, like, thank you so much for saying that, because I was also, as you were saying that, I'm realizing that all of our films that we have, or all of your films rather, kind of have a through line, like looking at, well, and so Crit's film looks at love through means of a queer lens, but like not even, because love is love. However, each of you have made a film that kind of looks at the marginalized and like really does such a lovely job of humanizing the marginalized in various ways. I mean, whether it's through comedy or through it's just like really beautiful sweeping images or K-pop. And so I just wanted to commend all of you and thank you all for being here and for making your films. You guys are stars, and as we know, the world is a bit of a trash fire right now. However, it's kind of always been the artist in a way that, like, if without art, why are we all here, you know? Because it connects us all and helps us find empathy for each other. So thank you so much for making your films, and I wish you all the best, and you guys are the bomb. So I'm gonna end it there. Thank you so much to the viewers at home that have sat with these lovely filmmakers. I'm going to ask that each of you like kind of says like your name and your film again, and a couple of thank yous if you wanted to say a couple of thank yous, because behind one talented person there are many to make a film, and also wanted to highlight that. So Maninder, if you would please start us off. Oh, you're on mute.
Do you have to unmute myself?
Maninder, if you please start us off.
All right. I'm Maninder Channa. Love letter to Dr. Teresa Tam. I'd like to thank everyone that was involved in the film, which is really about 3-4 people. Especially Stuart Cameron, who came out and did the music, John who wrote it, Michael who shot it, and me who directed and edited, and that was basically it. 4 people. So
Sybil?
Oh gosh, I have so many people to thank. Like, it was a big shoot. First of all, I would like to thank the whole Turkish community. It was really a community work. From the organizations to businessmen to all the people. We borrowed, we were donated a lot of things. As you know, I had a huge wedding scene with like 90 people in it. Yeah, so thank you again. It was Turkish Mr. Marjanu, and I'm director, writer, producer of it, and I'm thankful to everybody, my cast and crew, for being involved. Thank you.
Jerome?
Yeah, my name is Jerome Yu, director, co-writer of Idols Never Die. I want to thank everybody that came on board. It was a 3-day shoot. It's a volunteer shoot under the film competition Crazy Eights. So everyone that had to come out and bear the cold winter weather with me, thank you, especially my 4 lead girls who's never acted in their life. Yeah, I need to thank them so much for trusting me through the process. It was a hard and it was a big investment on their time. So thank you to everybody involved. I hope everyone is keeping safe and healthy.
Marianna?
Hi, I'm Marianna Fung. I am the director, writer, actor, and producer on Cranberry Flirt. First and foremost, I would like to I would like to thank the woman who played my mother, Mama Mai, who's actually my real life mother. Yeah, she's a superstar, and I'm a huge fan. Thanks, Mom. And thank you to my partner who was DOP. It was a skeleton crew, so I got 2 PAs to thank, Nathan and Emily, as well as my first AC, Paul, and our sound guy. Yeah, thank you so much.
Oh my God, your mom is so good at acting.
I know.
Great. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you should quit her day job.
Right? Crit, if you wouldn't mind segueing us out.
Crit, I'm the director and writer of Plantonic, and I'd like to thank my friend Shannon, my producer, and Bryce, my cinematographer, Jen, my production designer, and a bunch of others. I'm sorry if I forget anyone. And of course, my main inspiration that started it all, an incredible, talented artist called Radical Face. And last but not least, my 2 actors, Kenny and Josh, who trusted me and be a part of this film that I'm trying to represent our gay community. Thank you so much.
Well, I can say you definitely did a lovely job at representing the queer community, because before watching 2 men on screen in love, I was just watching a love story, and I feel like that is very difficult to do, especially with the opinions of people that are that have bad opinions. I'll just say that. And last but not least, Cindy, if you wouldn't mind letting us know about your film again and who you'd like to thank on your topical film.
My name is Cindy. I'm the writer and the director of the film Baby Blue. I just want to start off by thanking the UBC Film Production, who really supported all the filmmakers in the department, and also my producer, Karim Erman, and my director of photography, Shannon Galino, and my rest of my family, who was super supportive of me, but of course, like my mother, who let me actually share her personal story through this film. And I just want to thank all the women and like mothers who actually have survived from postpartum depressions, and they're the winners.
Thank you so much. You couldn't have said it better. They are the winners.
I forgot one person.
Oh, okay, yeah,
the actor in my movie. I forgot who plays Greg. Jordan.
Oh, Greg.
I'm out. Jordan. I'm so sorry. I love you.
No problem. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I love all your films. As I said, you're all stars, brilliant. Please keep going. I know that like auteur cinema is a predominantly very white space, and so it can be hard being a POC trying to make work, but please, please, please keep going. Your stories are needed. They are necessary. So thank you. And to the viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us, watching these spectacular films and listening to these spectacular filmmakers. My name is Aisha, and thank you so much again. Ta-ta!